Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of EverQuest 2. On this one, we're going to be doing an introduction to basically EverQuest. As soon as you logged in, if you watch my other videos, you've seen I've done an introduction to get the character screen, to your archetypes, to the races that you can pick, to the way you can modify the way your character looks. This one's just going to be a brief overview of basically just joining the game for the very first time, what some of the things you need to be aware of. Basically, look, you see I have a screen right here. This is something that will pop up every time and show you some of the new items, featured items for sale that you can buy with Station Cash, which is either you get it for having a active account every time you pay per monthly, or for a whole year you get, I believe it's 500 Station Cash a month, or you can just purchase it with real cash. They have different things for looks, for different mounts that you can pick. There's a whole range of things that you can get just with Station Cash, and only with Station Cash. So you just go ahead and close this down. You don't really need to look at it right now. It may be a little confusing to start with, and you may not even like the game. So just go ahead and close that down. This will only pop up if you have other characters. Let's see. All my characters are there. But I'm not going to pick one because you may not have one, so it'd be kind of weird to start off that way. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel. Now this is your character. Depending on what class you picked and what race you picked, he may look a little different. I'm playing a paladin carer, so he's a little cat, or yeah, he's a cat. And so down here on the bottom, you have your spell bar. You have your number 1 key, which is your melee attack, your 2 key, which is your ranged attack, and you have 1 combat art to start with. Your combat arts will either be a spell or an innate ability. This one happens to be a combat art that you start with. It's like a level 1 spell. And then you have this over here on the side. It's sprint. This is something you can use to get away from enemies. You click it. It allows you to run faster, but it uses your power in the process. So therefore, if you know you can't beat the enemy even with all your power, you can use this to get away, so the enemy will stop following you, and then, therefore you will survive the battle. If you look down here on the bottom, you'll see a bar. It's almost completely empty. You see a little bit of blue down here, and this is your experience bar. Now you can change it to show different kinds of experience. If you hover above it, it'll also show you your adventure vitality. Adventure vitality is gained by not killing creatures. You don't necessarily have to be offline, but you do gain vitality by being offline. You also gain it by, if you're doing trade crafting, your vitality for adventuring experience will go up, and vice versa. So if you're doing adventuring, your trade crafting will go up. So this is a nice little bonus that you can get. It's kind of a nice little way so that you can compete with players. In EverQuest 1, you had this issue where people who were able to be on for 20 hours a day obviously could level a lot faster. This kind of gives you the ability to take a break without getting a penalty. Because you're not on, you actually get the double vitality, which allows you, when you do get back on, to level much quicker. So if you right click on it, you'll see this little bar that pops up, and you could say minimize or show trade skill experience, and it will change the color. And now it's showing your trade skill experience. Since we just started, you don't have any. Show adventure experience, show alternative advancement experiments, which is usually referred to as AA points. If you click on that, again, it changes the color, and it will show you what level AAs you have. I don't believe you can get any AAs until at least level 10. And then, of course, you can go into Windows Setting, Unlock Window. If you unlock Window, it allows you to move the window around. You can set it up here on the top. You can put it in the middle of the screen, literally wherever you want. We're going to leave it down here on the bottom, simply because that's a little bit more convenient. Go ahead and lock it so we don't move it around. If you don't lock it, then if you happen to be moving around the game and you accidentally click on it and try to drag, you will move it away. And if you're in the middle of a fight, that can be a little distracting. The same thing with this. This is usually what you call a hotbar menu. You can right click on it and you can open up a new hotbar, which just opens up another set of windows for you. If you right click on it again, you can go in your hotbar settings. You can actually change the icon size so they're much bigger if you have a hard time seeing, or much smaller if you want to put a whole bunch on your screen and you don't mind the very, very, very small text. But we're going to go ahead and put them back to normal. which is right about there. The you can see that this will separate them, so there's more space in between. This is kind of nice because, as you can see, if I'm going to click on this object down here, I can't do it through a button. So if there's space in between, I can click on it, or at least I should be able to. I guess it won't let me. I guess it's not letting me, but it should work that way. But since it's not, I guess you won't be able to use it for that ability. Go ahead and resize it. You can also change the text to full text, or medium, minimal, or none. I like full. You can show spinner. This allows you to have multiple, like if I do this, oh, so I didn't unlock it first. Allow draggable items, hit apply. This will allow me to drag my buttons around so that I can make it in any form that I want. So now if I go up 2, it will show me my second bar, which is this one right here. If I make a new hotbar, it will be my third, and if I go up one more, well, that was my first because I'm on the first one right now. So there's the first one. If I drag this up here to number 3, now it's still not doing it for some reason, but you get the gist. You can have as many as you want, taking up your screen, or you can just have the scroll wheel on there so you can scroll through them as you need. Some people will have this only on one of them so that they can have buffs on, say, number 10, and just scroll through number 10. Make sure they cast their buffs when they die. That's really the only time you need to recast the buffs because they stay on forever. And then just scroll back to whatever panel that you want it on. Now you also have these little buffs down here on the bottom, and these are spell effects. As you can see, this one right here, you can hit examine, and it's not popping up. But that one's for food, that one's for your drink, and this one's to let you know that you have mail that's been unread, and you can go to your mailbox to read those. You can send in-game mail to your friends, to your guildmates, just to random people if you want. You can attach items in that mail so that you can have somebody make you something. You can send them the money for it, and they can send you the item. That way you don't necessarily have to be on at the exact same time if you know somebody and trust them enough to do that. You have your oh, finally it popped up. I must be getting some lag. So it tells you what it does: out of combat health regeneration. The same thing for the drink. It will show you what that does, and it also tells you how long it lasts. If you have any other buffs on, they will show up down here, and you'll be able to see what they do. So we're going to go to character screen. I'm not going to go too much into this on this video. I'll make an entire video devoted to your character screen. As you can see, there's quite a lot to go through. There's the stats here on the right, and like I said, I'll go through each one of those in far more detail because it is kind of confusing to start with. But to starting your game, you don't really need to worry about any of this. You'll learn it as you go, but if you're interested, you can watch those videos. You also see this is your equipment screen. This is all the equipment that you have. You get any new equipment, you're going to want to put it in here. You got your backpacks that you can open. You can either right click and hit open, or you can just double click on it. And then again, just double clicking on it again will close them. You got your appearance tab. So if you get any armor that you like the appearance of, but necessarily it doesn't have the stats that you want, you can drag into here, and it will just show up for your looks. You won't get the stats on that armor, just the looks of the armor. So then here's your skills. It will show you what level your skills are at, your combat, spellcasting, avoidance, and then of course general tab down here for your harvesting and languages that you can learn. You also have factions. In this game, depending on the creatures you kill, you may gain positive faction or negative faction. Same with the quests that you do. So you want to be very careful with anything that gives you negative faction. Positive faction is always a good thing. Negative faction, on the other hand, can ruin your ability to get around to certain areas. It's very hard to do that in this game. It was very much easier to kind of mess up that. In EverQuest 1, they kind of fixed that, so it wasn't so easy to do. So you got your passive effects. You don't have any right now. Your mounts. Mounts are something that you can ride to give yourself an extra speed boost in running. You don't have any right now because you haven't, you just started the game. But this is where they will all be. You don't have to keep them in your backpack anymore. You used to have to do that, and they would take up quite a bit of space. So now they'll all be here in one little area. Mercenaries. Of course, you don't have any because you just started it. But mercenaries are NPCs, non-player combatants that you can get that are controlled by the computer that will join you in your group. They literally show up in your group tab, whether you put it over here, wherever you put your group tab, and you'll be able to heal them. You'll be able to see their life, their power, and they will attack the creatures that you attack. You can even send them to attack first. So if you're a caster and you want a tank, you can go get a mercenary, and you have to pay them. Depending on the tier that they are, the more money they will cost. And of course, the higher the tier, the better they are. Also the level, the more they will cost as well. Currency. This shows you what sort of currency tokens or shards that you've acquired throughout the game. On this character, he only has these loyalty points. Loyalty points are basically for the entire account, so that's why it's only showing up on a new character. You won't have any to start with, but that's where they're put them. The housing, it will tell you if you have a house where it's at, and you'll also have the ability to teleport straight to that house if you are inside of a city. Hollis is considered a city, so you'd be able to do that from anywhere in Hollis. Dungeons, you can create a dungeon or join a dungeon. I'm not going to go too much into that right now. You can write a short little biography. Your options, you can change those around. And again, I'm going to go into far more detail, even though I've covered this quite a bit more than I thought I would right here on this one little. And I'm just going to skip that for now. You also have your spell book, your abilities, your combat arts, and your upgrades. You can do research to upgrade your spells. They take, depending on the level of the spell, they may take a week or a day or an hour. And this is where the abilities that you have learned will be. Call the home is a gate spell. You will, chances are, want to drag that down to your hotbar, keep it down here for emergencies, or if you happen to be someplace really far away, you can just gate back home. Let's see, you can go to the next page and so on and so forth. Let's close that down. Your AA tab. Now this is where you will have the ability to customize your character in a plethora of ways to do that. Your race will give you innate abilities that you will have only because of your race. Then you will also have your character development tree, and then your alternate advancement tree. And you'll have different tabs in there, your Crusader, Paladin, Shadow, Heroic, and Dragon. Now this one says Paladin and Crusader because I'm playing a Paladin. If you're playing a different class, it will also have a different name. Each one of these you can put a point or 5 points or several points, and it will show you right there the rank that you happen to be at and how many points you can put into it. Down here it will show you the total points that you can have in this one tree. So it says I can only have 100 of points in this one tab. Now if I go over to Crusader, I can have another 100 points into here. I can have 70 points put into here. I can have 50 put into here. And I can have 30 put into here. You also have a trade skill tree. Trade skills are things like blacksmithing or woodworking. That's where you can make armor or tables and benches for your guild hall or your house. There's a lot of other ones that I'll get into later on. Prestige is another tab. Then your trade skill prestige. Go ahead and close that down. You have your bags. You can toggle all your bags on with the click of a button. You can see what's in every single one of them. That way you don't have to go through each and every one of them when you're looking for something you can't seem to find it. You can come down here and just click that on. You got your journal. This is where any quest that you get will automatically go. They'll show you the what the quest is supposed to do. Where'd you get it from? What zone did it start in? What zone are you supposed to be going to? What the name of the NPC you got it from? What the level is? Just everything about that quest that you would possibly need to know. And of course, it says right here, Journal has room for 75 more quests. You can get a total of 75 quests at one time. You also have collections. I'll go into detail, far more detail and introductions on collections later. Achievements are things you get for doing certain task, or if you kill a named, you may get an achievement. If you explore the zone to its complete, you may get an achievement. You also have daily objectives, and you can see what they are. You go over them, and you'll get loyalty point tokens for doing these things. And it tells you how much time is remaining, 4 hours and 8 minutes. And it says complete 2 of any of the following. So you just do 2 of these a day and you can get loyalty tokens. We're not going to go into what those are for just yet. You also have this button down here. This opens up the store, the marketplace. So if you want to buy anything, you know, use your loyalty points, appearance items, expansions, you can go in here and you can actually buy the expansion. It will redirect you to the home page, and you can get stuff like that. You also can buy housing and mounts that I was telling you about, and you can see how much they cost. They have sales on these every so often. So if you're not in a rush, I would wait until they put these things on sale and get them at a discount. Now if you come over here to the other side, you have your map. The map shows you the entire zone. It gives you points of interest that you can highlight, go over. You can also click on certain places on the map, and it will open up a little golden path. Let's see if it shows it. It may be too close, but it would normally open up a little golden path that will be leading you to whatever destination that you've picked. That path doesn't necessarily always take you through the safest area, nor does it avoid obstacles like crevices or mountains. So you may have to skirt the path, kind of figure your way around it, but it does kind of point you in the right direction. You can also come up here to the top, and you can see other zones that you're not even in. So if you're thinking about going to a zone, you can come over here and kind of just open one up and see what the zone looks like. You can pick different areas. You can also do searches for certain things that show up on the map. If you do a search for this area right here, it will take you to this area and show it to you. So you got community. So you have your friends. If you add anybody to a friends list, when they log on or they log off, it will show you down here in chat channel that your friend so-and-so has logged on or that they've logged off. You can add them in here, or you can just do /friend space and their name. So that's another way. You can also ignore people. If you find somebody who's very aggravating or just very rude, you can put them here, and you will no longer hear or see what they have to say, either, you know, in the open channels or in your group if they happen to be in your group. You can do that for people who are speaking, you know, obscenities and stuff like that as well. You can find players, classes if you're looking for a group, which is LFG, looking for group. You can tell other people you're looking for group by clicking these on or off. Looking for work applies if you're a trade skiller and you're looking for people to hire you to maybe make something for them. Role playing hides what your race and class and level is, and it puts your name in pink. So nobody who does a search for you, does a who all, and then your name, will be able to see who you are and you know what level you are. See, and there's the wisps that showed up. It's obviously a little bit of lag tonight. You can also hide other things, but we'll get more and more into that later. Let's see, looking for a group. This is a more advanced tab for looking for a group. You can come in here and you can actually look for people, or you can see, or you can add yourself so people who will look for other Pacific classes can find you. And you can say who you're looking for, and we'll get all into that as well later. Let's see. Oh, if you have a guild, and I would suggest joining one as soon as you can. This is where the tab would be, so you can see the members that are on. You can see the recent actions of your guild, what has been looted, you know, things that have been important that you may need to know about. Will all be found right here in this little guild tab. Housing and leaderboards. You don't have a house, so it doesn't show up anything. You can buy houses, and it shows you the categories. You can do the ratings, and it will show you, you know, how many people have liked your house. If you put it up there on the open market for people to visit, they can actually vote on how well your house is decorated, the theme of your house, and all these sorts of things. And you can win awards for those, and you get special things the more awards you win. You can visit other people's houses and vote on them. You also get kind of special things for voting on other people's houses as well. You also have this tab down here. This is your voice tab. You can talk in game. You no longer need Ventrilo or some of those other programs to be able to speak with players. When you join a group, you may be able to auto have it join a group, you know, or when you join a guild, the default will be that it will automatically put you in guild chat. and then you have to hold the control button down to talk. I'll hold it down now, and it says I'm not in a channel. You can come in here and go to options, and you can set the voice chat volume, the mic volume. You know, that's basically how loud the other players that are in the chat channel will talk. And so if you have somebody who has a really loud or sensitive mic, you can literally come in here to the voice users right here tab and see their name, click on it, and then set their voice to lower or higher. So if they're very, you know, quiet, you raise it up. If they're very loud, you can lower it just perfect. So everybody's talking at an even. Enable SOE mode. So you can enable webcam and tracking and so on, but we're not going to get into that now. And then, of course, you have the EQ tab down here. This opens up all of the stuff that I was talking about earlier and more. You have the tab for AAs. You have Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds is a PvP area that you can enter and do missions along with killing other people from other servers. They're not even just server specific. You actually zone into a whole area that other people from other servers can zone into as well. You got the broker. Broker is the... It's not going to let me open it right now. But a broker will allow you to buy things that other players have listed. It's the global economy. Anybody can list anything, put a price down, you set the price, and if somebody likes that price, they can go ahead and buy it, even though you're not on. The calendar will show you what's going on right now. Any upcoming events. You have the Queno City Festival going on. Because it's close to Halloween, you have the Nights of the Dead coming up. The Moonlight Enchantments. You have Freeport City Festival. You have one of these festivals each month, and they're in a different city. And then, of course, you have the Heroes Festival. So there's quite a bit going on this month. But there's not always that much going on. Sometimes you have an entire month where there's really only the City Festival, and that's it. We'll go ahead and close that because that's a little bit of lag from what we clicked on earlier. Of course, you got character, and you got claim rewards. Now, if you bought the game, you may have some rewards for buying the game. Usually, each expansion, you'll get a certain, few items for that. The longer you play the game, the more rewards you will get. You'll get rewards after like a month, 6 months, a year, 5 years, so on and so forth. For playing the game that long, they reward you with some items. Let's see, and that window will pop up here in a minute, but I'm having some massive lag tonight. Dungeon Finder, which is what we kind of touched on earlier. Housing, Journal, Knowledge. Legends of Norath is a card game that is based off of EverQuest. You can go into it at any time, and I'll do a whole introduction into it and show you how to play and the rules of the card game. It's a fairly cool kind of game, and a lot of people actually play EverQuest just to play the card game. They don't even play the game, they just play the card game. So that's how addictive and how really in-depth that little tiny, and I shouldn't say tiny because it's very, very in-depth of a game. So it's something you can check out if you feel inclined to do so. If not, you can just play the game. And you got all these other ones that we already went to. Options, just like with any game, you can come in here, you can set your performance, custom, you can do high performance, low performance. If you have not the greatest computer, you can set it to performance over graphics. If you have a great system, you can set it to high graphics. If you know your system can handle it. You got basically all the tabs that you would normally have. You can come in here and explore it. Change things up. See if there's anything there you want to mess around with. Let's go ahead and look at recipes. Recipes refer to your trade skill. Since this guy's just started, he doesn't have a trade yet, but this is where the recipes for your trade skill would be. Go ahead and close that down. So our claim rewards item has popped up, and this shows you, and they're in tabs, and it shows you if you had bought the Desert of Flames expansion, this would have been available to you. Destiny of Alicia's, these things were available to you for buying those expansions. Events that you might have been in, because this is an old account. I may have quite a bit more than you do. I probably do. But you'll see with each expansion you get another little few things. Or you can scroll back and say all, and you can see what all the things you can have are. And as you see, Some of these say 1 per character, which means every character you have on your account can claim one of these. Some of these have actual numbers remaining, 20 remaining, so I can only claim 20, and that's for the entire account. So if I claim 1 for 1 character, that will knock it down for all the other ones. Some of them say 1 per account, so you want to be very careful with those. Make sure you give it to whoever your character is that you know is going to be, your main guy for at least for a while. And there's a lot to pick from. There's a Legend of Nora at the starter deck that you can play, 1 remaining. So there's a lot to go through on these if you've been playing for a while. If you haven't and you didn't even purchase the game, chances are there won't be anything here, so not to worry about it. Let's see, socials, just a tab that you can click on, and you can click it, and your guy will emote certain things.
Assist me with my attack. Yes.
And as you can see, he's actually moving around on some of them. The applaud one is kind of nice. It's going to be here in a second. I'm getting lag again. But you can go through those. There's several already on here for you. You can make up your own emotes by doing / emote space and then whatever you want. He may not do actual physical movement for your emote, but it will say that you emote something, and people will get the idea. There's clap finally. Welcome to EQ. That's a little box that popped up earlier, and it will pop up here in a minute and show you the message of the day, any news that you may need to know about. You also have your help tab and report a bug. A bug is anything that's wrong with the game. If you happen to, say, fall beneath the ground and get stuck, you can report that, and the GMs, the game masters, will come in and help you out as soon as they get to it. If you're not paying for the account, you may have to wait quite a while. If you're paying for an account, they seem pretty good about their time. You may only have to wait 10-15 minutes or something like that. If you see something wrong, say a creature is stuck in the rock, or a creature is floating in the sky for no reason, and here's the little menu I was talking about earlier. We'll just go ahead and close that down. You can go ahead and report that. You don't get anything special out of doing it, but it does improve the overall game experience, not only for you, but for other people. Okay, so there are basically everything down on the bottom. Of course, you got your chat menu right here. This is where you can hear other people talk. You can also talk yourself. You have your combat button, or tab, which will show you just the combat, how much you hit for, how much the enemy's hitting for, the spells you're casting, the spells they're casting, and that's it. It won't show any chat. It won't show the text for the quest. All that will show up here on the main window. And of course, you can make as many of these as you want. You can right-click on it, say chat options. You can change the color of tells so that you can see them very clearly in a big fight. You can add for a new window. You can select language. Do a whole bunch of different stuff that you can do with this. So if you go up here to the right-hand side, you'll see daily objectives, 0 out of 2. This is just your journal. If you get a quest, it will show up right here down on the bottom, and then it will keep listing them to a certain extent. I believe it's like that big right there. And of course, you can double-click on it, and it will open up your quest journal. Show you what the quest is that you're working on, and depending on which quest you clicked on, it will automatically go straight to that one. Now you have your map up here. It's a small mini map. If it's not big enough, if you can't see your target where you need to be going, you can open up your larger map. This right here is telling you need to click on it to read one of your unread messages. It's a tutorial. If you really want to go through that, you can. This is fast travel. We're not going to mess with that. And this is you up here, right here. Shows you who you are, what level you are, how much health you have, power, and so forth. And then if you click on it, you targeted something, and it shows up right next to it. Now you can change the position of these. You can move them around, put them wherever you want on the screen. You just right-click on it, and it'll unlock them. But we're not going to get into that for now. So guys, if you enjoyed these videos, I hope you hit the little like button, subscribe, leave a comment below. Or, always hit me up in game. I'll be happy to group with you guys, and we can make some videos together. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.